Croeso pawb. Welcome everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join us on this really hot and sunny afternoon to discuss inspection in the youth work sector. Before we start our presentation, let's start with a bit of housekeeping. So part of this webinar will be in Welsh and we have English language interpretation available. So to enable this, all you need to do is click on More at the top of your screen, click Language and Speech, and choose Language Interpretation, and then choose to listen in English. So hopefully you've managed to get that set up. The unique thing about these events is their interactive nature. So we'll tell you a little bit about inspection, and we've got Carly from YMCA Swansea and Owen from Bridgend Council, who will tell us about their experiences of inspection. But we want to be able to answer your questions. So please start sharing your questions in the chat now, and we'll make sure we incorporate them. Carly and Owen have promised me that with lots of youth workers on the session, they will have more questions than we have ever had. So please prove them right. So if you click on the Q&A, you can, in the box there, write your question and we'll make sure we answer them. I might even see if our events team have got any Estyn goodies for the first one of you to get a question in. So there's a challenge. We've got Carly and Owen with us. We will post in the Q&A the links also to their inspection reports, so you can read a little bit of some of the inspections we've done over the last year to give you a flavour as well. And it's worth, we'll also put the post in there about our annual report section on youth work from last year, which will give you a summary of last year's inspection work. We're just in the process of putting together this year's annual report. So, dwi'n mynd I dweud ychydig o eiriau yn Gymraeg rwan, so gobeithio bod y cyfieithiad yn gweithio. So mae'n bleser mawr bod yma heddiw I sôn wrthych chi am ein harolygiadau gwaith ieuenctid. Dechreuais I fel arolygydd gwasanaethau cymorth ieuenctid pan ymunais ag Estyn gyntaf. Felly un o fy mlaenoriaethau I fel cyfarwyddwr strategol oedd gweithio gyda Llywodraeth Cymru I ail-sefydliau'n harolygiadau gwaith ieuenctid. Roedd hynny mwyn gallu tynnu sylw at y gwaith gwerthfawr iawn mae'r sector chi yn ei wneud a'i hyrwyddo yn ei hangach. Ar ôl cynnal rai arolygiadau peilot, fe wnaethon ni ail-gychwyn y raglen arolygu ym mis Medi 2024. Erbyn hyn, rydyn ni wedi arolygu 5 awdurdod lleol a 2 darparwr yn y sector gwirfoddol. Rydyn ni hefyd wedi cynnal arolygiad thematig ar y gwaith o ddatblygu perthnasoedd iach a draws 4 darparwr gwirfoddol. Fel rhan o'r harolygiadau o wasanaethau ieuenctid awdurdodau lleol, rydyn ni hefyd yn arsylw gwaith ieuenctid sy'n digwydd mewn partneriaeth gyda sefydliadau eraill. Felly, efallai bod rhai sefydliadau gwirfoddol wedi cael profiad o broses arolygu drwy hynny hefyd. So the purpose of this session is to uncover the inspection process in the hope that it will be less daunting. So a reminder, make sure you pop some questions in the chat for us. So what are our intentions for the inspection process? The role of inspection is to drive improvements for learners and to complement a provider's own self-evaluation and improvement process. We know that inspection can sometimes create pressure, and we've all been through inspections, but our inspectors will do all they can to ensure that inspection is a valuable professional learning experience for everyone involved. Leaders, youth workers, volunteers, senior managers and trustees, and of course our inspection teams. So how can you best prepare for inspection? Well, I visit lots of inspections and have the privilege to chat to many youth workers and leaders, and I often come across myths about preparing for inspection, so I'll mention a few. Myth 1, you have to prepare specifically for inspection. This is false. We want to see your provider how it is day in, day out. Inspections are about understanding your strengths and your areas that may need some improvement, but there's absolutely no expectation that you change your normal routines to fit in with inspection arrangements. Myth 2, you need to create resources and policies especially for inspection. Again, this is false. We only ask for a small number of documents in advance, safeguarding evaluation, timetables, etc. And Gavin will say a bit more about this later. You certainly don't need to produce or update anything, especially for inspection. Working documents are fine and they don't need to be pristine and smartly presented. It's what's happening in provision with young people that matters. The last myth I'll mention is that inspection is purely about judgments. Again, this is false. Inspectors will make evaluations, just as you and as a provider will make evaluations as part of your own self-evaluation and improvement processes. And we base our evaluations on a wide range of evidence, from discussions with staff, partners and young people, looking at young people's experience and progress, etc. Our aim is the same as yours, helping young people make the most of their time in youth work settings. Of course, we make one overall summary evaluation, and that is whether or not the provider requires follow-up. And then the next question is often asked by leaders. How can leaders support the youth work community in taking value from inspection? Inspection is a really useful opportunity to gain an objective external view that complements your own self-evaluation. It can bring fresh perspectives, highlight achievements, and provide insights into how your provider compares nationally. Inspectors visit a wide variety of youth work providers and other settings every year and bring that experience with them. In all our inspections, there's a really, really important role called the nominee. So that's someone, usually a senior leader from the provider, who joins the inspection team, and they engage in all our discussions and listen to all our evaluations. They have a central role in really maximising the value of inspection. And Carly and Owen, I'm sure, will touch upon their experience in this role later on. They're present in all the team meetings and they hear firsthand the really detailed evaluations that we make. And some of that doesn't appear in the published report, but they've got that knowledge then to be uniquely placed to share that fuller picture with staff and senior managers or board members, and to lead those discussions about how the provider then takes forward any recommendations. And every year people tell us it's really helpful, challenging, but really helpful role. So I'm going to hand over to Gavin now, who's going to tell us a little bit more about that inspection process.
Diolch yn fawr, Jasa. Good afternoon, everybody. So what should youth work providers expect in the lead up to an inspection? A question that we're often asked is, when will we be inspected? And the honest answer is that providers should not try to predict when their next inspection will take place. There's no set interval or fixed link between a previous inspection and the next one. So we do not want providers spending time trying to second guess the inspection cycle or creating unnecessary pressure for staff. Now, for core youth work inspections, the current notice period is 15 days, so 3 weeks, and that's term time days. And our youth work inspections currently run Monday to Friday. So you will get the initial call, which will usually take place on a Monday from one of our inspection coordinators. In terms of documentation, we ask for very little in advance, and that is really important. Inspection's not about creating extra paperwork or asking providers to produce things especially for us. The emphasis is on understanding what happens in practice day to day. We want to see the work as it normally is. We want to talk to the leaders, to staff, partners, and most importantly, the young people. We want to understand the quality of youth work, the impact it has, and how leaders know what is working well and what needs to improve. The advice I would probably give to leaders is captured well in our Barod and Barod, Ready Already message. That's a campaign that went live for the schools and the post-16 sectors, but it's relevant here for the youth work sector as well. If providers have effective systems for understanding their work, listening to young people, supporting staff and improving provision, then they're already doing the things that matter most. So if we move on to what a typical inspection journey looks like, a typical inspection journey has several stages, and it starts, as I mentioned, with the initial call, where the provider is notified of the inspection and key arrangements are discussed. This is followed by an online introduction, which gives the nominee and the leaders an opportunity to understand the process, ask questions, and begin working with the inspection team. And then early in the inspections, day one of the inspection, the nominee has the opportunity to outline the provider's context and reflect on their improvement journey. This is a really important part of the process because it helps inspectors understand the provider's work, priorities, and challenges. The team will then carry out a range of on-site activities. These may include visiting provision, talking to young people, meeting staff and partners, and reviewing relevant evidence and exploring the impact of the provider's work. Throughout the inspection, the team holds regular meetings to test evidence and discuss emerging findings. The nominee is involved in these discussions, which helps to ensure transparency and gives the provider a clear understanding of how the team is reaching its conclusions. Towards the end of the inspection, the team holds a moderation meeting to agree the findings. The inspection then concludes with a formal feedback meeting where the team shares its findings with the nominee and senior leaders. After the inspection, the report goes through Estyn's quality assurance process before it's finally finalised and published. So if we talk about what happens after the inspection, one of the questions providers often ask is, what happens once the inspection is over? So at the end of the inspection, as I've just mentioned, the team holds a formal feedback meeting with the nominee and senior leaders. And inspectors share the main findings, and this includes the strengths, areas for improvement, and any recommendations. Obviously, at this stage, the findings remain provisional and confidential. But then after that, the quality assurance process continues. And this is a really important part of the inspection process because it helps to ensure that findings are fair, accurate, and securely based on evidence. Quality assurance has several layers, starting during the inspection itself, with the reporting inspector, the lead inspector, would quality assure the work of the team. Evidence is discussed and tested in team meetings so that the final findings are collective evaluations rather than the view of one individual. In some cases, inspections are also quality assured on site by a senior HMI, assistant director, or even a strategic director. And they may observe the inspection process, review the evidence base, and challenge findings where needed. Every draft report is then quality assured before publication. This includes checking the accuracy of the report, the tone, the alignment within the inspection framework, and whether the evidence supports the findings or recommendation. Where a provider is being considered for follow-up, there is an additional process, and this helps to ensure that decisions are consistent across Wales. Only after the quality assurance process is complete is the draft report shared with the provider for a factual accuracy check. Leaders then have 5 working days to identify any errors of fact. And this isn't about reopening inspection judgments, but it is an important opportunity to correct factual details. So, for example, if the report included the incorrect number of young people, an incorrect job title, or a factual error about the provider's work, the provider can raise this before the report is finalised. And that report then is published on our website, usually within 45 working days from the start of the inspection. And for local authority youth services, those reports are currently published on the same day as the local government education services inspection reports. Also, what's quite nice, since September 2024, since we rolled out the inspections in youth work, we've also accompanied the main inspection report with a youth-friendly report. And these can be found on our website. Now, another question that providers may have is what kind of follow-up might be required. In youth work, there is only a single category of follow-up, which is slightly different from the school sector, which has multiple statutory categories of follow-up. A youth work provider may be placed in follow-up where recommendations are significant and where Estyn considers that further activity is needed. The nature of the follow-up can vary. It may be relatively light touch, or it may be more substantial, depending on the issues identified. If no follow-up is required, the provider continues with its normal improvement journey. In every case, inspection is intended to support improvement. Estyn does this by providing clear recommendations, highlighting effective practice through our spotlights, and engaging in constructive professional dialogue with leaders. The nominee has a particularly important role after the inspection because they've been involved throughout the process. They've attended the team meetings, they've heard the emerging findings. They're best placed to help staff and senior leaders understand how the evidence has led to the final evaluations. The final question I would highlight is, what should leaders do with the feedback? The most effective leaders use inspection feedback as a springboard for improvement. They build recommendations into improvement planning, engage staff, senior leaders and trustees, partners and young people in the next steps, and reflect carefully on the link between leadership, provision and outcomes for young people. It is also important to build on positives. Inspection reports, they're not there just to highlight what needs to be improved, but they're also there to identify the strengths and, where appropriate, spotlight effective practice that others may learn from. So in summary, once the inspection ends, there is still a careful process of quality assurance, factual accuracy check-in and report finalisation. Providers may or may not require follow-up, but in all cases, the key message is that inspection should support improvement. And perhaps most importantly, leaders should make good use of the nominee's insight. They have seen the process from the inside and can help the organisation understand not only what Estyn found, but why it matters and how it can shape the next stage of improvement. So I'm going to move on to some final messages. So final message I want to leave with you is that inspection should not feel as scary as people sometimes imagine. We want inspection to be a positive and constructive experience. It should feel like a natural part of your improvement journey and not something that's separate from it. We are there to work with providers to understand your context and to listen to young people and to evaluate the quality and impact of the work that's being delivered. Inspection should complement the systems that you already have for evaluation and improvement. It should not create unnecessary additional work. That is why, as I mentioned, the Barod and Barod Ready Already message is so important. If you know the young people well, understand the quality of your work, support staff, listen to your communities and keep improving, then you're already focusing on the right things. So my final message would be, do not prepare for inspection by creating extra paperwork. Prepare by continuing to focus on what matters most, the relationships, the quality of practice, the improvement, and of course, the young people. I'm going to hand back over now to Jasa, who's going to be asking Carly and Owen some questions about their experience on inspection.
Brilliant. Thanks, Gavin. And thanks for the questions that have come in. I think, Helen, you win the prize for the first one that came in. And just to touch upon those questions, Helen had asked, what have you learned from the early inspections and what have you changed since then? I mean, I'd say the biggest change that has happened since the first couple of inspections that we did was the introduction of the young people's report. So Gavin worked really closely with some groups of young people on one of the inspections that we'd already done to look at what a report might look like that would be useful to them and test different ideas. So now every inspection since has had that young people's report, which has been really helpful. Apart from that, I think the only other things we've learned as we've gone along, I suppose, is the level of flexibility we might need to think about in timetabling and things, given obviously the diversity of provision that we're coming across and when it might take place and where. So I think we're learning all the time about, building in bits of extra time at different points to encounter that. And we also had a question about peer inspector training. Peer inspectors are a really vital part of this whole process, and we did some training not that long ago. I think it was back in March, I want to say, Gavin. So I'm guessing it'll probably be next year sometime now when we do the next set, so that we can give those people who've trained a chance to get out on inspection first. But now to hear from some of those people who've actually been through inspection. So I've just got a couple of questions, but please keep your questions coming in as well, and particularly if you want to ask anything of Carly and Owen. So Owen, perhaps we start with you. We talked a bit about that lead up into the process of leading into the inspection there. So how was that for you? Tell us a bit about how it felt.
Yeah, afternoon all. My name is Owen Shepherd. I'm the manager of Bridgend Youth Service, and we were inspected back in February this year. I think Gavin's touched on some of the kind of milestones in the process, but from our part, Monday, 19th of January, a date that will live long in the memory. We got a call from a director to say that we've been instructed that we're going to be inspected. So from that point, then you've got 3 weeks, 3 weeks notice until the inspection starts proper. The day after, we meet with Gavin as a lead inspector, and I have to say this was a really positive meeting, very reassuring, and Gavin was able to kind of talk through the process and what's expected of you as the lead for the local authority. For the next 3 weeks, then you've got a lot of kind of administrative elements, I'd say. The virtual inspection room is one of the biggest. So you're from the point in which the local authority is notified, you've got 2 weeks to get that populated. This is quite it's quite challenging because it's definitely one of those things that you want to kind of showcase as much about your service as you want, as you can, so to say. So we met as a senior leadership team and with staff and with young people to look at what we could do to kind of give inspectors that kind of wide and broad range of what we do as a service. Following on from that is the timetable, and the timetable is the kind of mechanics of how the inspection will run. From speaking to Gavin, there are a number of people that they would expect to see, so like safeguarding leads and others, but there's that flexibility right throughout in terms of if you have other people that you feel that would benefit from having an opportunity to meet with inspectors. There's always that kind of flexibility, and Gavin was always on hand to have those kind of conversations and talk through then. So once the timetable in the virtual inspection room are kind of populated, the next step for us, or for me, was to have a look at the nominee training and to look at the presentation, which is delivered on the first day of the inspection. And this is, again, is your chance to kind of put some context to the service as well, and to kind of make sure that inspectors are aware of the breadth of the service, but some of the kind of contextual things like the demographic of the young people in the area, your service, finances, all that sort of stuff that kind of gives inspectors a good knowledge. And so there's a lot to cram into 3 weeks, but there's always that support right throughout the process to kind of talk through things with people, which is hugely reassuring and hugely beneficial.
Great, thanks, Owen. And I think that initial conversation is really important, isn't it? I think it's important for us as well. It puts us at ease as well. It's nice to actually get the process going. Carly, maybe to build on that, how did you kind of communicate and manage those expectations of staff in the lead up to the inspection? Anything you'd like to add in there?
Firstly, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Carly and I'm the Youth and Community Manager at YMCA Swansea. And I agree with everything that Gavin has just said as well. How did I communicate and manage expectations with staff? I guess, first of all, I think the initial thing was to manage my own expectations and my own emotions. So I think it was just to kind of gather myself. So I did speak to, I think, the coordinator at first just to ask some questions, and I was sent lots of information through. You get sent like a inspection pack. So I spent a little bit of time just kind of getting familiar with the expectations and the steps that I needed to follow and all of my staff needed to follow in the lead up, like Owen was just saying. And I think once I kind of got my head around it, I then went around and I printed the pack for each of my staff members, and I went around and I hand delivered these packs to them. and had individual conversations with all of my staff members. And I chose to do that just because I felt if staff have questions, or if they are scared, or if they feel anxious, then I can have that one-to-one time with them and kind of help manage those fears or emotions. But I think overall, I try to be as supportive as possible and as positive as possible. And just remind everybody, this is what we do every single day. We're changing lives of young people, and we've just got to show that in this inspection. So yeah, I think it was just trying to keep supportive and positive really throughout.
Brilliant. Thanks, Carly. And, in terms of the process overall, Owen, how did that process impact for staff and young people, and what feedback did they share about the experience?
Yeah, just to build on what Carly said, I think when we notified staff that we were expected, I think there was probably a little bit of trepidation with staff in terms of inspection, and so we kind of flipped inspection on its head, and we kind of, whenever we mentioned it, we talked about a celebration, and it's really kind of celebrating what we do as a service, and we made sure, again, talking about that timetable, is making sure that every provider, every leader, every youth worker had an opportunity, whether through observation or through a kind of one-to-one meeting, to celebrate what they do. And I think that was really helpful. I think I wanted to kind of touch on the peer inspectors as well and how vital they are in the process. I think having peers who know how you run as a service inside and out, because they've walked in your shoes, is really vital. And I think when we finished and we kind of did some follow-up sessions, I think the resounding thing, and this is the biggest compliment I can pay to Gavin and the team, was that staff said it didn't feel like an inspection, which I think kind of speaks volumes in terms of the process. And then we did some sessions with young people, and we used kind of like word clouds. And I took the three biggest things from the inspection team was that they participated, they were personable, and they were engaging. And again, that kind of sums up how the process went. Every observation that staff or inspection team kind of took part in, they were there to kind of build links with young people, because they youth work staff, so they kind of know how we operate. And I think young people really warm to that. And as I said, for staff to kind of think that it didn't actually feel like an inspection, more kind of like, as you said, a celebration, speaks volumes.
Thanks, Owen. Carly, maybe I'm conscious of time, but maybe tell us about what were some of your takeaways, what were your biggest takeaways from the inspection process? Anything else you'd like to share with people?
I think the biggest thing for me was, on reflection, thinking, now that I've been through my first inspection, they're not as scary and as stressful as what you'd imagine. And I think there's a lot of support throughout the process, and it just highlights all of the good work that your service is doing, but also offers that chance for self-reflection and self-identification on what your service doesn't do currently, and maybe the steps for development to further benefit young people. So that was one of the biggest things for me, but also how much I was involved. I didn't realise, and I think I imagined being inspected would be, these people would come along and they would walk around and they really wouldn't talk to you. But actually, I was involved throughout the entire process. I was part of all of the conversations. I was consulted every time an inspector wasn't sure about something. They would talk it through with me, and I was asked. And I had real opportunity to explore the context of the organisation and go into detail about the history and where we've come as an organisation, and kind of what our future aspirations are as well. And it just paints a picture for the inspector. So yeah, I think for me, it was how involved I was in the process.
Great, thank you. Owen, any key takeaways for you that you want to add?
I think whenever you've done an interview, you always walk out, and about 10 minutes later, you think, I should have said this, I should have said that. And I think that was the same with the inspection. I think there was always, there was provision that we didn't necessarily think about at the time that we could have kind of showcased as well. So I think for us, when inspection comes around again, we're certainly kind of there's definitely elements that we would like to celebrate as well. And so yeah, just there wasn't enough time to kind of showcase everything that you run.
Yeah, and it is only ever a snapshot, but I'd encourage people to have a look at the inspection reports for Bridgend and for YMCA Swansea, because there's some really lovely practice in there. And as Gavin said, we try and include those spotlights to share some of that practice. So please share them with your staff. Shan, you had a question for us as well, which was about what will local authority youth service inspection look like with the implementation of the 5-year plans from April onwards. That's something we'll be talking to stakeholders about and Welsh Government, but certainly even at the moment in the framework, we look at, okay, what are the strategic priorities, and therefore how are we seeing them being delivered in practice? So that will be exactly the same with the 5-year plans. There will just be a new statutory document for local authorities, which will help frame how we scope that inspection really. But certainly over the next few months, we'll be having some discussions with stakeholders as well, just to think, do we have to tweak anything to take account of that? So great question, thanks. And thank you all so much for your engagement. Thanks particularly to Owen and Carly for coming and sharing your experiences. Thank you to Gavin, who has really driven forward our work in this area over the last couple of years, and you know, positive feedback on the leadership of some of the inspections there as well. If you have got other questions, please do send them to us and we will get back to you. Email address there at communications@estyn.gov.uk. We'd welcome any more feedback or questions, and we're happy to engage with you if you want to have a chat about anything. Our website has got lots of information, not just the links we've shared. You know, there's all kinds of other inspection reports from other providers, our annual report, podcasts, and so on. And we'll have more of these Estyn Lives, not necessarily on youth work, but you may find some of the others interesting as well. So thanks all, diolch yn fawr, and enjoy the sunshine. Thanks everybody. Bye.